Now let's discuss who owns the major financial institutions. There's a well-known conspiracy theory that the Jews own all the banks, which is false. We've done some research on this subject, and I have this graph which breaks down the percentage of ownership investment of 5 of the major banks. JPMorgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, and Goldman Sachs. Here we have about 70% of JPMorgan is owned by institutional investors, which are the like of Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, Morgan Stanley, and others. 20% is owned by non-Jewish individual investors, and only 10% is owned by Jewish investors. Bank of America is also owned by about 70% institutional investors. 30% is owned by non-Jewish investors, and about 0% is owned by the Jews. Same with Wells Fargo, with 75% of institutional investors, 25% non-Jewish investors, 25% non-Jewish investors. Here we have Citigroup, very similar percentages, with about 0% Jewish investors. Lastly, we have Goldman Sachs on this chart, and they have 70% ownership by institutional investors, 25% non-Jewish investors, and only 5% Jewish investors. Now we see this across the board on most of these other financial institutions with slight variations. But the point is, the Jews do not control the banking system. This is not the Middle Ages. This is 2025. Ownership of major corporations and financial institutions is a large, tangled web of different types of investors, most of who are very wealthy. And we concluded in the last video that most Jews are not rich. So if you still think the Jews own the banking system, you are just hanging on to an outdated conspiracy theory and need to look at the facts.